Advocate Shruti Bisht, practicing lawyer in Supreme Court of India and also the National President of All India Sustainable Development Council, Women Empowerment and National Cyber Security Council of WICI. Today we are here to discuss over the human rights violations in our country. First of all, we need to know that what human rights violations are. The human rights violations are the human rights that are based on the principles of the right as a freedom of some kind. It is something that is very essential by the virtue of being human. Human rights are based on the principles of the respect for the individual, that is to give them the moral, the rational being, a dignified life and the freedom to live the life as they wish to. Because in our country we have segregated the human beings on casteism, religion, gender, base, place of birthplace, etc. things, that we have actually forgotten that end of it we all are human beings. The UN human rights that recognizes that human rights violations are very much prevalent, and there are so many human rights councils, there are private human rights organizations that are working endlessly and tremendously towards ending the human rights violations in our country and world over. So today our discussion is more on the human rights violations that are more prevalent in our country. Most important crimes that happen in our country is against the women. Against the women, the most prominent crimes are the domestic violence that happens every other day. That is being beating the women for more dowries or for not, being like them or exactly or not being as per their expectation level or commenting them, taunting them for irrelevant reason, harassing them physically, abusing them. So much domestic violence actually happens in our country. The solution for this is lodging of an FIR under section 498A IPC or even approaching the Women Commissions or the National Commission for Women. This way the people who are facing the domestic violences in our country, they can approach the lawyers or they can approach the organizations that are working towards the elimination of human rights or the crimes against human rights. Then is dowry, that is very prevalent in our country, wherein the brides, they are not considered as a human being, they are simply a commodity to be brought at home with more cash, kind and gifts. And if it is not sufficient, we every other day see how many dowry crimes that are happening. So in such cases of dowry cruelty also 498A IPC deals, we can lodge an FIR, we can approach the women commissions and we can go for domestic violence and dowry harassment cases. The murders also happen frequently in dowry deaths. There are other crimes like the acid throwings in our country where for revenge point of view, if there is friendship it breaks or if a proposal is being rejected or for any other reason, a woman can be attacked by acids, and that's one of the worst form. And IPC provisions now gives good punishment even up to 10 years and above in cases of acid throwing. So in case of acid throwing, again you have free hospitals available. You can approach the government hospitals in case of acid throwings or a victim of acid throwing. Apart from it, there are cases of honor killings that frequently happen, especially by khap panchayats. Since this is a male-dominated society in our country, people they think women they don't have right to speak or the right to choose their life partner. In such a case, the family honors comes if she chooses her life partner. For the casteism, religion, and various other issues, the women is killed, mob killed, poisoned, burnt alive, brutally murdered, throttled, and whatnot, simply to preserve the honor. So this is extremely important to know that there is no honor in killing a woman, because even as per our original Hindu culture, our original Hindu shastras, Manusmriti, they have always emphasized on respecting the women. It says yatra naristu pujante ramanate tatra devta. That actually means that wherever a woman is respected, the god actually resides, and where a woman is not respected, all work is futile. So these are the wordings of Manusmriti that are not being accepted or being followed up in our country these days. So the prevalent human rights violations, especially by the khap panchayats, the honor killings, the domestic violence, prove that the value of women is simply to is simply in words that she is being revered as a goddess Durga, or a goddess Lakshmi, but in practical sense, a woman is not even being treated as a human being. The highest case of such mortality is seen in Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan, UP, and in the northern zone. The causes is basically the male-dominated society, the lack of education among the people, the existence of the Khap Panchayats, the lack of rules against them, and various other socio-economic reasons in which a women has not been given the equal status. Now there are other issues like mob lynching. Mob lynching has been seen initially in the Khap Panchayats, where in case of intercaste marriages, the mob, they go and they kill. Then it was shifted to the cow vigilance, where in such cases people they were killing. Then it resorted to a religion issue, the casteism issue, and then personal retaliation. And ultimately a democratic mechanism of our country is resorting out to be a mobocratic mechanism. There's a very unfortunate reality, and even Supreme Court has said that our country is democratic, and against the mob killings there should be very stringent laws. It is only in Rajasthan that the bill has come up against the Khap Panchayats, the honor killings and the mob killings, but in other states there is no such laws prevalent. Apart from it, even the LGBT community in our country, they have been discriminated. Now the people who are the gays or the lesbians, the transgender, even they have been given the right after the latest Supreme Court judgment that they have the right to choose their partner, they have the right to choose the profession they wish to, they can live the life like a normal human being. So in our country, we see on the basis of gender, so much of discrimination actually happens. Even in school, if you see that there is a transgender, they are discriminated, but now they can be given equal rights in the workplaces. They simply don't have to sing and dance on the street. They can be educated and work alone. Then we can see there are so many police custodial deaths. The police custodial deaths happen, and that is a very brutal and abusive form of our police department to forcefully confess that a person that okay, you confess that you have committed the crime. So such police atrocities actually happen. There are various human rights commissions, there are various organizations that consider that this is a complete violation of Article 21 of our Constitution, and the custodial deaths, the heinous handcuffings, the illegal way through which people are tortured, that should actually be prevented. So many kinds of human rights violations can happen in such a cases, and in such case we have only good resource is the National Human Rights Commission that has been established in 1993. That is the apex organization of our country to safeguard the life, liberty, equality and dignity of individual as guaranteed in Indian Constitution. The National Human Rights Commission comprises of a chairperson and various other members. They are retired Supreme Court judges. They have the experience of law and NGOs, etc. And their functions is basically to take the grievances of the people and to see as to you can directly online lodge a complaint on National Human Rights Commissions or the state human rights commissions that are established in each and every state in our country. An online dispute through the online forum, you can directly lodge a complaint, and then the NHRC is going to direct the local police stations or the authorities to take an action, lodge an FIR, proceed the investigations and complete the judicial proceedings. Thus they have the power of the civil court even to grant interim relief. When the matter is actually to the NHRC, they have the power even to look into the matters, hear the matters and give the orders. So NHRC is the highest mechanism, followed by the state human rights commissions. Apart from it, there are various private organizations like the All India Human Rights Associations are there, UN is there, various other private organizations have also come up in existence, who have started working up towards ending the human rights violations in our country. So I think just the organizations or having hundreds of laws in our country is not sufficient. We actually need a sort of public-private kind of partnership between the government, the public, the organizations together to pledge that yes, we have to end the human rights violations in the country across the globe. We have to consider human beings to be human beings and not discriminate them on the basis of gender or their casteism or their religion or their place of birth. When the people they are going to resolute it to them, then only all the organizations, the laws and the mechanisms that will have any meaning. Thank you.